Robert Plank Show, episode 326. Thinkific. Create an online course to build your list and generate income with Sid Bharath. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. We're talking right now with Sid Bharath, and Sid is the Vice President of Growth at Thinkific, which is an all-in-one platform that allows you to easily create and sell online courses. Sid has helped thousands of entrepreneurs grow their businesses through online education. So, Mr. Sid, can you kind of tell us about this Thinkific platform and what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a few years ago, when you wanted to create online courses and membership sites, what you'd have to do was kind of build it yourself. So you need to put together a website, a checkout process. You need to integrate a lot of other things. You need your own hosting, and so on and so forth. And so what happens was you only had people who had access to developers or had a lot of money and time to spend on building the site, who could actually go ahead and create their courses. So the founder of Thinkific, Greg Smith, decided, and he wanted to create his own courses. He realized that there was no easy solution to this. And the easiest solution was getting a WordPress site, and cobbling together a bunch of other integrations. And it was a mess. So he decided to create the easy way to do it. And that was Thinkific. So Thinkific is really just a really easy website builder tool that allows you to, with a click, add a new page, with a click, upload your course videos, add in a quiz, a survey, other online course elements and interactivity, and create a fully built membership site or online course site, everything all in one included, and so that you're ready to go in, even less than a day instead of a few months.
Awesome stuff, and it sounds like this is a tool that a lot of people need because, as you said, like to do it the hard way would be to grab a domain name, get hosting, set up WordPress, figure out plugins, figure out where to host a video, figure out where to take payments, all that stuff. So, am I hearing you right in that it does all that? Does it like host the video, host the sales letter, all that stuff?
Yeah, exactly, and it's all all the hosting is free as well. So we have a free starter plan that allows you to get started and do it for free. Including all the hosting and the sales letters.
Awesome. And so for free, what do people get compared to when they pay money for this?
So free is everything, the most basic stuff you need to actually get set up, running, and start selling your courses. What you get when you pay for Thinkific, and we have a couple of higher plans, is it just simply unlocks a few additional features like couponing and affiliates and other features that allow you to sell more of your product. So you can get started and you can make money through your course, or if that's your goal, or you can onboard students and train your employees or whatever your goal is on the free plan. But if you want more features that will help you do more of it, you can unlock it with a paid plan.
Great stuff. And for everyone following along, I'm looking at the pricing page right now, thinkific.com/pricing. And so I really like this model that you have here, Sid, because having that free plan sort of allows people to, get started quickly and maybe get their first handful of, students and get their course created. So that way they don't have to wait until they have to, save enough money to get this course. They can just kind of hit the ground running, like you said, today and have something in place today. And I'm seeing that, so that free plan, it's free, but it does a 10% transaction fee. So am I getting this right in that? So it's totally free, but if someone say sells like a $90 course, then your cut of that would be $9 every time. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. We do need to collect some amount, just because we have employees and all of that stuff. But the free plan, as you said, is just a way for people to get started without any commitments. And if you are making money, great. 10% is a small amount as a fee. And if you're making enough, like you're making thousands of dollars, then the business plan at $99 a month has zero transaction fees. So that becomes a flat rate if you move up there, and that becomes like really cheap once you get to thousands of dollars per month or tens of thousands of dollars.
And that's super cool. So people can basically kind of start small, and then as they grow and as they do more and more volume, then eventually those fees go away, and it's just at that higher plan. It's just that sort of monthly cost. So that's pretty cool. And so, I mean, when people use Thinkific, I mean, what sort of like topics are people making? Are you seeing?
We're actually seeing topics all across. Like some of them would surprise you. So we've seen people create courses around hula hooping. We've seen people create courses around flying drones. And then we see, the regular courses. So we see like it could be anywhere from the hula hooping person and the drone flying person. These are solo entrepreneurs. It's just them creating these courses. To big companies like Hootsuite, for example, uses us. They're a social media platform tool, and they use us as a way to train and to attract new marketers. So they do social media training with the software to attract new marketers to start using their social media software. So, all across the board.
Awesome. That's pretty impressive that even Hootsuite uses it. And so when we're talking about like a course, I mean, what do people usually create? Do they make like, something with like 50 short videos or like, I mean, what's sort of I don't know, what's sort of like, I guess the length of an average course? Like how much is involved in someone setting up a course?
I think, the length doesn't really matter. It's more about the value that you provide in your course. And people these days, especially students who are learning something online, they're using online as a way to get new information and new knowledge and new skills quickly. So they would prefer shorter courses and, the videos within those courses to be shorter as well, just because, there's so many distractions and our, attention span is down to like 10 seconds or something. So we usually suggest that you create courses that are maybe a few hours long and have like videos that are 5 to 7 minutes long in your courses. So that being said, we do have people with shorter courses, at a quick 1 hour course to a longer 10-hour course or 100-hour courses, which are like multi-week programs, like a fitness program for 6 months or whatever.
Awesome, fair enough. So I guess we can start off with just like a 1 hour course, but they can potentially go as big and as crazy as they want if they prefer.
Exactly. I always tell people, if you're brand new to it, start off with something small, put something small out there, make it free, get your name out there, build your email list, and then you can start exploring longer form courses and with higher price points.
Makes a lot of sense to me. So people can sort of walk things up in both ways. They can, like we said a few minutes ago about the price, and they can start with this free plan, test things out, make their
hmm
first course, kind of try that out, and then walk their way up. And so when people make a course, I mean, how does that work? Like, is there like recording software that's built into this, or do they have to like use their iPhone and upload something, or how do people like film a course? I guess.
Yeah, we have some recording software built in, but it's better if you use your computer. So every computer comes with a built-in camera. The hula hooping person I told you about earlier, her first course was just with her iPhone. She started taking videos of herself. Now, of course, it depends on the type of course you're creating. So if you're doing a physical activity type of course, like fitness or hula hooping or dancing or whatever, you would probably need a camera. Maybe use your phone or computer camera, or you just get yourself a separate camera and shoot those videos of yourself doing the exercises or performing the activity. Whereas if you're doing a course like Facebook ads, for example, you would do a screen share or a screencast of what's happening on your screen. So you show people how to navigate the Facebook ads user interface, right? So you could use a tool like QuickTime, which will just capture what's happening on your screen. It will capture, if you are speaking, it will capture your voice. And so you could do that. So you could use that. You could use a combination. And we also have a voiceover slides tool built into Thinkific. So you could upload a bunch of slides and then record your voice over it within the app as well.
Great. So multiple ways of getting that done. And so once people sort of make the course, I mean, do you recommend that people like plan out a course in a certain way and like add like homework or assignments, or should they just kind of record stuff and see where it goes, or what's sort of your response to that?
Yeah, I'm a big I advocate action before perfection. So it does help to sort of plan out maybe bare bones the structure of your course up front, but just go ahead, shoot some videos, put it together, start getting some students in there and get feedback from them, because they're the ones who know best, right? Otherwise you'll be making assumptions about what the course should look like and how it should be structured. So get feedback from your early students. And you can always go back and edit the course. You can add new modules, you can remove modules, you can switch them around. We have like a drag and drop course builder tool built in where you just drag and drop your course materials in the right order. So start with something, put something out there, and then get some feedback and keep improving it. It's always going to be a work in progress.
Great. That sounds very reassuring, so that people aren't stuck in just making something and it's not set in stone. They can put something out there, and based on what people, how people use it or what people say, they can rearrange those blocks. That makes a lot of sense. And so, when people make a course, are they required to charge money for it, or can they make a free course to start off?
Yeah, you can make a free course to start off. And again, on the free starter plan, if you're making free courses, that 10% thing doesn't apply, right? Because it's 10% of $0. So you can start with the starter plan, you can make those free courses, and you can build your email list and then move on to something and you start creating, paid courses. So
Cool. And how does that email list thing work? Like, does it hook up to external autoresponder, or do you host the leads, or how does that part of it work?
we host the leads. We have a built-in CRM tool as well that comes for free again. So anytime someone signs up for your course, they have to enter the name and email that gets captured inside the system. You have access to it. It's your data. And then if you want, you can connect any MailChimp or other autoresponder software, and then that will automatically sync up with that software, and then you can create other email campaigns if you want.
Cool. So people can make all kinds of stuff. They can join for on the free plan. They can make a free course. They can build an email list. They can get some students in there, and then keep building things up from there. And so, as we're sort of talking about this, I'm really curious. Like, what are the bare minimum pieces someone needs in place? Like, can they make a new course? Can they upload a few videos and then click a button and make a page with just the button to join? Does that just those things? Does that get someone started?
That's pretty much it. Our company actually did a retreat a year ago, and we had like a 24-hour course creation challenge. And so it was just within 24 hours, we started from scratch, came up with a new topic idea, shot a few videos, uploaded in Thinkific. With a click, we had a new page and a new free course up there. And then we started promoting it. And really, the process of putting it up on Thinkific and creating that sales page and the free page, that was probably a couple of hours. The promotion took the most time, just putting it out there and linking from like Twitter, Facebook, Quora, and all of those other places.
Amazing. So when you did that retreat, and when you see people using your Thinkific platform, do you see anybody get stuck anywhere along the way? Like, did they get stuck on that sales letter, or did they get stuck on the video, or anything like that?
Yeah, I see people get stuck, right at the start where they're like, I don't have the perfect equipment to record my videos. I don't have the right microphone or camera. Well, that's not true. You do. You have a computer. Like they get stuck with, I'm still shooting the videos. It has to be just so. It has to be perfect. I'm trying to get all the right videos, all the the outline correct and the curriculum correct. And so they're trying to aim for perfection. And so it's just going to be, I've had people who are shooting their videos for about a year, right? And they're like, oh, I made a mistake. I said it in the video, so I gotta scrap that whole video and redo it. And they're trying to get it perfect. So that's where people get stuck the most.
And what do you say to someone like that who keeps getting stuck with that perfection, or even if you say, well, you don't need that fancy equipment, or you don't need to edit out every single if someone is still like hesitating or sort of dragging their feet, what would you say to someone who kind of is fighting that perfectionism?
I usually, when people come to me for that, they ask questions in our support forums and stuff. I give them the examples of people like the hula hooping person who just started off with her mobile phone, shot a few videos, and got that snowball running, right? And it's the same format or the process as the lean startup thing, where you create an MVP, a minimum viable product, and then you go from there. So put that first thing out there. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can always update it later. And the best part is your students are not going to care for perfection. Like they are not going to, look at your course and go, oh, it's not a Hollywood blockbuster. I feel like I'm wasting my money taking this course, right? So perfection doesn't matter to your students, and it shouldn't matter to you.
Makes perfect sense to me, and that makes me sort of think back to different times if I needed to pick up a skill. Like I think maybe 10 years or so ago, I was trying to figure out how to film a green screen video, and I was like looking at all these different articles, and finally I just opened up YouTube, and there was just some like 8-year-old kid, like it sounded like a tiny little kid's voice just explaining it. I didn't seem to care that it was a little kid or that he was kind of saying or kind of unsure, because all I cared about was that information, and that was how gotta get a green screen sort of behind me. And so that makes perfect sense. That like if I'm really looking for the information, I'm willing to listen around all the mistakes because I don't care about that. I just care about what is being sort of shown in front of me. And so speaking along those lines of sort of starting with the minimum viable product and then kind of building things up from there, when people start to sort of add to their course and kind of beef it up, make it better, are there any kind of interesting features in Thinkific? Like, do you have like a quiz feature, or do you have the ability to track what videos students watched? Anything like that?
Yeah, exactly. All of that stuff is in there. So it's built in. You can add quizzes. You can add surveys, so you can collect feedback from your student. You have an exam bank, so you can ask, an exam. You can do an exam at the end, and you can have grading. You can even offer certificates to students. You have a built-in discussion feature where you can discuss with students, and students can discuss amongst themselves. And then you have all the data collection as well. So like full progress reports of each and every student in each and every course, all the quizzes and assignments and survey results, and data down to the video level. So what is the engagement level of each video? Are students actually watching the whole thing? And up to what point do people watch before they drop off a certain video?
That's amazing. So that way, by having all that data, it sounds like when someone then goes back to tweak their course or like update it or whatever, they can go back and see where people dropped off and kind of rearrange the pieces.
Exactly. And using that data is the most scientific process than making assumptions up front and aiming for perfection, right? Because when you try to plan everything out to perfection, you're making assumptions about what perfect looks like to you. Whereas your students, it could be something very different. So that's why I always say, again, just put something out there, have your students go through the course, collect all the data, qualitative and quantitative, it's all available to you, and then use that to make really informed decisions.
And so, have you seen any of your customers sort of make any like common mistakes, or when they make that course and look back on how it went, do they ever have any regrets or anything like that?
Yeah, the biggest regret is always just I probably spent too much time making that first course, and taking too long putting it out there. I should have put it out there earlier. I should have started marketing myself earlier as well. A lot of people, they don't pre-sell the courses, or they don't pre-launch the course, which you could do again very easily. Just put together a page. You don't even have to have course content, and start promoting it while you're creating your course content to get that email list going, right? So those are kind of like the regrets of just not having done it faster or sooner, because they waited too long and they were trying to be too perfect.
Fair enough, and good advice there. And so as people sort of make these courses, and maybe they're like they're pre-launching it as they're making it and stuff like that, like what do you recommend people do for traffic to get some butts in seats for some of these courses?
There's 1,000 different ways to start promoting a course and getting traffic. So what I do suggest is pick the channels or the methods that you find most interesting or you feel like you're capable of doing. And I'm going to mention a few here. Fastest way obviously is ads. So if you've ever done Google ads or Facebook ads, or if you want to read up on that stuff, you can do a bit of research and create your own ads, and that will immediately get you some traffic. But I'm a proponent, and I'm an advocate of organic traffic and doing things like guest posting. So, finding bloggers in your industry. So let's say you're doing, fitness course, you go out and search for fitness blogs on Google, you'll get thousands of results. Go reach out to those bloggers and say, hey, I'd love to do a guest post for you. Write something and have a link back to your site. You're going to start collecting traffic that way. Do things like, Quora, answering questions on Quora or Reddit. Online groups like Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, people are always up there discussing things, answering things. Go just give value, and then when it is appropriate, add a link back to your site. So, working these social communities and forums online, Slack groups as well are similar. And then, well, let's see what else. Creating content yourself, like creating your own blog content or YouTube content. Putting yourself out there on Facebook Live and Instagram, whatever other social media channels you think that your customers are going to be at, and putting content out on those channels.
Great stuff, and that's an awesome list. So, Google ads, Facebook ads, guest posting for organic traffic, respond to questions on Quora, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram, and I like that at the beginning of all that you said to sort of look at where you're already at, so that way you're not just flooded by all these possibilities. If you're using any of those things, or if you're on Facebook anyway, it makes perfect sense to use Facebook Live to promote that sort of stuff. And sort of along those lines, Mr. Sid, I've sort of seen with a lot of people where like they either they get stuck, like you said, like they get stuck either starting, or they plan too much, or they spend too much time on the course. And I've also noticed that a lot of people, they make a course, they market it the one time, and then they seem to sort of forget about it. Have you noticed that as well? Have you noticed that like a lot of people they'll set up a course and then they'll like forget to send traffic to it later on?
Yeah, exactly. I think there's this misconception that, courses are completely passive income, and the moment you publish it online, it's just suddenly going to start making sales, and then you can, go to the Bahamas or something. And so, people think that, oh, I don't need to promote a lot, and they try a few promotion tactics. It doesn't work. They do it for a couple of days, and then they give up on it, and they're like, oh, well, maybe no one wants the course. But the truth is, it takes time, especially if you're just starting out, you haven't built an audience online before. It is going to take a few months, let's be honest. It's going to take a few months, maybe a year or so, for you to start building up that audience and getting consistent traffic to your site. So you have to keep working at it. You have to keep putting consistent time. If you have a full-time job, I totally understand, but make sure you're spending at least 2 hours in the evening after you come back from work, quiet time, just working on getting traffic to your site, and in a few months, in a year, you'll see some results.
Great advice, great answer, and I like that how your answer there is just like something very concrete. 2 hours a night after you've done everything else, just focusing on traffic. That way, if you keep on putting these different things out there, you can look at the numbers and you can see who's coming to your site, who's signing up, who's getting it for free, who's getting it for a paid course, and all that sort of stuff. So that I really like all the things that we've talked about today about Thinkific and everything that goes along with that. And so when people set up like a Thinkific course, let's say they set up like a free course or a paid course, or like different courses and stuff like that. What's the web address sort of look like? Like, can they park their own domain? Is it on a subdomain? What's the deal there?
Yeah, so if you start off on the free starter plan, you get a Thinkific domain. So it would be robertplank.thinkific.com would be yours. If you wanted that, you could create anything. You could create myfitnesscourse.thinkific.com. So that's like the free domain. And then if you want a custom domain, if you want www.robertplank.com or courses.robertplank.com, like a subdomain type of thing, you can do that on the Essentials and Business plan. So you'll have to upgrade to one of the paid plans to get that custom domain.
Awesome, great stuff. And so, and have you been seeing, like, I imagine that, like we said at the beginning, like, Thinkific looks like a great platform for anyone to make a course without having to set up a website and set up WordPress and all that kind of stuff. So it sounds great for beginners, but I imagine that maybe even some advanced sort of experts also use Thinkific because maybe they just don't, maybe they have a website, but they just don't want to deal with all this course stuff. So even if someone already knows how to make a website or even like has the skills, maybe they still want to use Thinkific just to avoid all the usual headache of like outdated plugins and bugs and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. We have tons of, Hootsuite themselves, like big company, billion-dollar multinational company, and obviously they have a budget and team of people who can build it themselves. But, Thinkific offers them a solution to get it up and running much faster, and so that they can focus their resources on other things like actually creating the content or marketing the courses, right? So again, it's even regardless of how big you are or how much money you have, it's always still a question of resource optimization, and you'd rather just have something that because maintaining it is as well is much simpler. I mean, we do the maintenance at Thinkific, right? You don't have to worry about always maintaining the website. If you built it on your own, you would have to worry about that. So even as podcasters like Lewis Howes, John Lee Dumas, these are people who use it. Authors like Simon Sinek, Grant Cardone, and so on. So people who do all have the resources who could probably just build it out on themselves or have someone build it for them, a custom site, but they use us because it just offers a much better solution already. It's already built. Why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly. It sounds like great advice there. Yeah, yeah. Why start from scratch? Why spend all those hundreds or thousands or how many tens of thousands of hours to get caught up to Thinkific when it's already there? Just get an account, just plug into it. This sounds like a really amazing tool, especially with everything that you've explained, where people can start with just the free plan. They can start by just having a free course. They can make a bunch of different courses at different price points, and then as those get popular, they can sort of work their way up and they can plug it into their autoresponder. They can plug it into Zapier. They can drip content out. They can add that custom domain, add the quizzes, and just kind of slowly get, as they get more familiar with the platform, as they get more and more results from the platform, then they can get into some more of these fun and crazy features as they have these students that are using them. So this sounds like a really, really amazing platform. And is the web address for to join thinkific.com, is that correct?
Yeah, just go to the main site, www.thinkific.com. There's a place right there to sign up. Just put your email address in, create a password, and that's it. You'd have a new site in a couple of minutes.
Perfect. And I think that everyone wants a new site in a couple of minutes and not hours or days or weeks or however it is in the old-fashioned way. So why not do it the new cutting-edge way? If you want to make a course, if you have an idea for anything like you said, Sid, hula hooping or Hootsuite, or if you're Lewis Howes or if you're Grant Cardone or whoever, if you have an idea for a course, why get hung up on all the technical stuff? Instead, just go to thinkific.com, go and grab a plan, go and grab the free plan if you just want to log in and get started and see how things work, but go to thinkific.com to claim your account. That's thinkific.com, thinkific.com. Looks like a great platform, and I want to thank you, Mr. Sid, for stopping by and telling us all about this great place for people to launch their courses.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you for having me, and I'm glad that we could have this chat.
Have you had a chance to rate and review the show yet? If not, go right now to robertplank.com/iTunes, click the View in iTunes button, and click the Ratings tab. We would really appreciate a 5-star rating, or whatever you think is fair, plus a quick 1-sentence review to tell us how we're doing. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.